let's begin with a quick introduction about yourself.
My name is Deepa Chakravarty, and I'm a performing artist. And my husband is a software architect. So we live in Chennai. It's the south of India.
Then can you let me know which university did Mridula get into and what program is she going to pursue?
We were looking out for programs in medicine, and we were looking out for universities in Europe, particularly because we did not want to send her too far away to US and Canada. And UK and Australia were working out way too expensive for us. So, once I did my research in the web on the universities that offering English programs in Europe, then I came to understand that Gyanberry is actually offering most of the programs that we were actually interested in. So Mridula had applied for Charles University, first faculty, second faculty, and Pitch. Now, what happened was, incidentally, Mridula got into all of it, actually. The bigger problem is it's not about getting into a college, because the universities are very nice, structured, and they have their own entrance exams and other things like that. So cracking the entrance exams or the interviews are not so much of a problem, but deciding which university that you actually want to sign up for is the bigger headache sometimes when it comes to being a parent, I feel. So Charles was our first priority always, and then Petch was also the other option that we were having. Well, when we were looking out for universities itself, there were only three factors that we were considering as to why we wanted to choose this particular university. The three factors on which basis we were actually choosing was, one, safety and security. The other one was the world ranking of that particular institution or university, and then the cultural atmosphere of that particular place. So when it came to all these three, I think Charles had a little bit of an edge over the other universities that we had applied and were looking out for. So Prague is one of the safest places to actually be in, and also Charles, Prague as a city is a student city by itself. So there's a lot of floating population, and a lot of international students are coming and going, and hence safety and English speaking, I don't think this, we thought, would be of any kind of problem for our child. And then the second thing was the world ranking and universities. Charles University's medicine program particularly is a top ranking program, and therefore there's no other option at all over there. And while going through a little bit of researching and deep studying into the particular what is the recognition of that university and the history of the university, I kind of understood that Albert Einstein was also a professor in this. And obviously, those kind of things are kind of adding into the reputation and the history of the particular history. University is built based on the history. And today the field of life science is growing. So another factor why we chose Charles is because it actually encourages the student into research, and there's in life science there's a lot of opportunity for the students to pursue research and other things like that. So this was the second factor. And then obviously being a European city, I think Prague being the safest city, it's culturally rich, and it's the next best thing to being at home, to home culture, being Indian culture. There's a lot of cultural pluralism over there that you can find, cultural diversity that you can find. It will kind of give you some sort of a global edge, like meeting other students from other nationalities and other things like that. So these were the three factors that we were considering. When it comes to applying for universities and what the parents can actually do is, They have to first of all identify if I mean, like, if you've chosen your university, the first thing that you have to do is identify the correct kind of educational agency who's kind of, collaborating with the university, who can kind of, help you through the process. So in this case, for me, it was Gyanberry. And I think half my problems were like kind of solved, because I really did not have to think about application dates, all those things. Everything, communication kept flowing for me from Gyanberry all the time. That I knew, that was a big thing out of my head, because otherwise, if we are working parents and other things like that, we can't keep track of things, keep looking at the communications that the university is actually coming out with. So Gyanberry will actually help you through the application processes and many things like that. Then second thing is, when it comes to selection of examination dates, it's always better to select the earliest date, or at least little, not the last date, but just earlier dates. Because once you select the earlier dates, then your results will also be out earlier, and then afterwards, which gives us more time for us to think about other options, whether it is visa processing and other things like that. When it comes to visa processes, like, there are many universities and there are many places in Europe, but when it comes to applying for visas in Czech Republic particularly, it's a tedious process, because they go by the books and they won't cheat on any things, they won't cut any steps, and they go through that particular process of 60 days. So you have to give yourself 60 days for the visa processing, otherwise there can be no other way. And you have to trust Gyanberry also, because at every point of time, if there is any issue, if you go to them and ask for questions, there are people who will advise you correctly. Because for us as parents, it's just one child or two child of ours that we will be sending, whereas Gyanberry is doing it for 10,000 kids every year. Okay, so there is no question over here of questioning them. There's no point also doing that, and there is no reason for them to misguide you in any way also, because there is no reason for them to do that. So it's best to trust them. I am very sure they will give you and find out, they will find out and give you solutions for you, like, they really care about your child, and they are very, very committed and sincere about the child's future over here. They realize that it is the future of the child. So as much as how we feel it, they feel it, and they act like that also. And this has been my personal experience also with them, associating with them. And third thing that I would like to advise over here is, once the visa is applied, then the anxiety levels of the parents is going to go up. Okay, it is inevitable, because the waiting period is terrible. Let me tell you that uphand now itself, because whether it's 30 days or 60 days, that is going to be the longest period of your life and your child also. Yeah, so just go through that waiting period in a much more calmer manner, and go call Gyanberry and ask them. You can trouble them as many times as you want, they won't mind it. But go to them asking for help instead of asking for other people for advices. This is my sincere tip for all the parents, I think. I'd like to take this moment to actually thank Gyanberry and their team, each one of them who I've been interacting with, whether it's Sukanya or whether it's Kristen or Pooja or Ratnesh, whoever it is, they're lovely. It's a lovely team, actually. They're very organized, and they're very correct in their communications, and they're on top of the things most of the time, if you go with them with any question, there'll always be the right kind of answer. I've not once found them not to have an answer where they'll say, oh, I'll come back to you with something. Every time I call them up and ask them, there'll always be a answer. And sometimes, they are more acting as parent counselors than student counselors. because it's, as parents, we have been like on top of them, calling them up, pestering them, uh, like randomly calling them up and messaging them, texting them. We tend to do that because we are parents and we want something good for our children to happen, and it's through Gyanberry, and they are the mediums through which everything is happening. So I really appreciate their parents and their understanding and empathy towards us. Thank you so much for everything.